Okay, this is an exciting day because we have John Gray, PhD, talking to us about how to mend and build relationships. Who none other than John Gray. Men are from Venus, women are from Mars. And I'll do a little bit of an introduction to answer our questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to type in a Q and write your questions after that, even after the broadcast, and we'll address them next time he's on. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that. So fasten your seatbelt because we are going to learn and grow together. Okay, guys, it's time to dance.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and viewing friends at facebook.com/Lillian's radio show. I am so excited to meet you in the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show /classroom, or this is someone reached out to you and said, hey, it's time to learn and grow together, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friends, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, today is like a dream. I am excited that we have author of 16 books, John Gray, that have to do in relationships. So I wanted to say, if I could sprinkle pixie dust over your significant other's head, what would you do? What would you wish for? What would you change them? Would you wish for compassion, understanding, commonality, a sense of adventure, a sense of humor? What would you wish for? So the reality is, sometimes we see in our partner who we are. And how do we kind of learn about ourselves, learn about our significant others, while we are building the best relationship, the relationship that you dreamt about since you were a child? How do you do that? Well, today we have John Gray, PhD, who has been able to help so many people across the world be able to mend and understand each other and build the relationships that they want to build. Not only, and I was reading his bio and reading his background, and boy, I'm looking forward to talking about meditation and how he's been able to integrate his own life and use that as a teaching for all of us to learn and grow. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I'm excited that Dr. John Gray is here to do just that. Welcome to the classroom. Thank you so much for coming today.
Well, thank you. It's a real pleasure to be with you.
So let's get started here, because there's so much time, right? But so little time to discuss what really truly matters, which is to love and be loved. So this is a journey, and I was reading your journey of this holistic background that you have from youth, that you've been able to grow. So share a little bit about your background and how it led to not just writing men are from Venus, women are from Mars. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, to beyond Mars and Venus. So.
Well, everybody knows the book title, if they haven't read the book, that men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And it was a huge sensation. I mean, it still is. I mean, it's millions and millions of books sell every year. It's in all these different countries and in America as well. So it does very well because it touches people in a very practical sense. And people always think that, oh, it was just like this overnight sensation. But no, that was, I wrote 2 books before that were not that big. And the ideas of Men Are From Mars came from the first 10 years of my marriage with Bonnie. And we've been married for 34 years. And then a sad thing is that a year and 50 days ago, my wife passed. So she died of ovarian cancer.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It was a sad thing. I'm still in the process of the grieving process, but I put that to the side when I'm doing my work. It all it flows.
Yes.
So she's my soulmate, and the irony is you can love someone as much as you can, but when you lose them, it's you love them even more. I'm just so lucky to have my time with her and our special times together. So we can talk about what made our marriage really work and great. But you asked me about my background. So prior to meeting Bonnie, I was a celibate yogi. I was a personal assistant to the Maharishi who founded the Transcendental Meditation movement. I think it's a very fine technique. There's many techniques that are really helpful for people, but it had its particular important value at that time. And prior to that, I grew up in Houston, Texas, and my mother was very esoteric. My father was very esoteric. He taught us yoga at 3 years old in Texas. And my mother's from California, but they went to Texas. And my mother had a bookstore called the Aquarian Age Bookshelf, which was, spiritual books, esoteric books, astrology books, all that stuff. There was, I grew up in sort of what people often label the New Age, but a very spiritual person. I've been meditating now 50 years. People always say, what's your secret? How could you be so successful? I say, well, I'm committed to love and I meditate every day. I'm a little bit more than a regular meditator. I probably, particularly since my wife passed, I meditate, 4 to 6 hours a day. I couldn't do that when we were married.
No. But you did more when you were younger too.
Oh yeah. When I was celibate, I used to meditate 15 hours a day. I mean, I'm a master meditator. I'd eat a cup of food a day, and I got really good at it. And I was like his best student. He had pictures of me and my brain function. Studies on brain, all the early studies on how meditation changed the brain, a lot of it was done on my brain. I love meditation. Some people are really good at piano and singing and gifts. My gift is meditation. But what meditation did for me was I can be happy. I have found the source of happiness inside of me. Okay. So I'm the outer world makes me happier. The outer world can upset me, but then I can always come back to finding my happiness inside. And so when I got married to Bonnie, things would upset me. I would take time out and I would go meditate and reflect on what had happened and able to come back to open my heart and figure out how I could have done that differently. And that's all my books, is how I could have done it differently. And what's interesting is as my books evolved, there's a lot more emphasis on what women can do differently, because I was just learning all this stuff. I didn't read it in books, but as I learned how to take complete accountability for the results I got in the marriage, it's easy to blame your partner, not so easy to see how you contribute to things.
Sure.
And even then you kind of want to say, I wouldn't have done that if you hadn't done that. But for me, it was coming back to a place of letting go of the upset, opening my heart, and then reflecting on how I could have contributed, how I could have done that differently, solve the problem. So next time it doesn't happen. And what can I do now? The flip side of that was, as the years passed, Bonnie started changing and becoming even more loving. When she felt safe, she started naturally coming up with all these great ideas and new insights for me. So probably I'm going to, write a book at some point, which will be called The New Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, by Bonnie Gray and John Gray. Actually, she's 50% of that first book anyway, but she started standing in the back. She's not a public person. She didn't want to be a public person, but now I can make her a public person. I could tell all the stories that I share often in my seminars. I'll put in that book. the new men are from Mars. And I want to just acknowledge her and
I appreciate
for
that.
what
And
she's done.
I'm sorry for your loss. I know it's very difficult. You know, there's when people go through something as traumatic as that versus divorce.
Yeah.
Divorce and being a widow is two totally different things. And I never understood it until I spoke to a person who was a widow. And she said that, I said, well, how long have you been single? She goes, oh, I'm not single, I'm a widow. And I didn't even know that there were differences. And so it's amazing how everybody in our life becomes our teacher.
Mm.
And so I'm sure that you can help many heal a broken heart as well, and be able to grieve. Now, have you been able to use meditation to grieve or to join Bonnie at a different realm?
Well, I do join her in a different realm. I think that's my spiritual connection. But the limitation of meditation doesn't really, in most cases, teach people how to grieve. It actually sometimes the problem for people who are just doing meditation is they sort of bypass their emotional issues.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, after being a meditator for 9 years, and that was just it, you know, I was meditating so much and had such great experiences and amazing stuff. But then when I came out into the world, that's a different story. And often you read about this in some people's lives, the dark night of the soul, because
Mm-hmm.
you find your source, which is up here, okay, and that's all the good side of life. But once you feel really safe to be yourself, then everything that's unlike that starts to come up. So I've been through, you know, as part of my destiny, I guess, is to grieve a lot of lives. My brother committed suicide. My father was murdered. My mother
Yeah.
died of an accident. And these are all unpredictable things that happened. And my sister, my little sister, you know, at 60 had Alzheimer's and died. My brother died of liver cancer. My other brother died of heart attack. You know, I've been through so much grief. And also divorce, which is devastating. I won't minimize divorce for people. I was
Yeah.
with, not with Bonnie. I've been married to Bonnie 34 years.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to Bonnie, I was married to a woman for a couple of years who was just a friend. And we taught seminars together. But that was devastating because, you know, even though we thought it was a good idea at the end, we were good friends, not marriage partners. And it was like business partners. But
Yeah.
when you fall in love, there's a dream. And that dream dies when you get a divorce. So even if you're one who wants the divorce, you have to grieve the loss of that. And that was my first big loss, actually, was that. And I was devastated. The woman I was in love with wanted to be with some other guy. And we were teaching a seminar at the time called Making Love Work.
Yes.
So now I didn't have a job. I couldn't go out and teach the seminar and be going through a divorce. So that pushed all my buttons, and I was, you know, only been out in the world a couple of years. But it brought up issues, and what it brings up, all the grief does is it's magnified by the unresolved issues of childhood.
Yes.
And this is like so important. When I was processing my feelings about my first marriage ending, I was devastated. And I was journaling my feelings and I was crying. And, you know, I walked out of the house. I didn't know what I was going to do. I called my mother, who was in Texas. I was in California. I said, Mom, I'm getting a divorce or separating something. And will you come? And she said, yes, my bags are packed. I'm on the way to the airport. I'll just change the ticket. And she flew out to California. So while I'm waiting at the airport, I'm journaling my emotions I'm just devastated. Tears are flowing. I feel inadequate. I feel unlovable. I feel like I'm a hypocrite. How can I teach this seminar on relationships? So all of that stuff was going on, and I'm journaling and journaling. And then what happens in the middle of that, I awakens a memory of when I was 7 years old. My family in Texas, we went on a vacation to California. And for the first week, I got separated by my family by mistake. That's a big story, but I thought I'd never see them again.
Yeah.
So I was devastated. I felt forgotten. I felt unloved. I felt helpless. And that was a big trauma that I completely forgotten. But now this end of my divorce awakened that trauma. And I was processing those feelings of what I felt as a child that I didn't even know I felt as a child, because now I have more self-reflection. That's called processing your past, using the now moment to look deeper into other times when you've had these feelings that you're too young to process. I mean, literally, as children, we don't have the brain to process things.
Correct.
buried. So what happened then is I finished my letter, and I was, I call them feeling letters. You write out what you're angry about, you're sad about, you're afraid of, what you feel guilty about or bad, or any of those emotions. And then what you wish and what you want, what you need. And then you feel all this love and forgiveness and understanding. And so I'm writing all this stuff. And then I'm done. And my mother comes off the airplane. And during that time, the whole thing I was doing a trauma about was when I ended up with her at her sister's house, Aunt Inie's house. And I didn't know anybody, and I was never going to see my family again. And I thought, well, when I got off the plane, I told my mom, I said, thanks for coming. I gave her a big hug, and I was crying. And I said, I don't even know where we're going to go. And she says, oh, we can go to Aunt Inie's house.
Time to process some more, John.
It was amazing. It was quite an amazing 7 days I spent with her. It was literally, but it healed me so, so much. There was like a part of me that was frozen as that little boy. And I used to have a lot of anxiety, even though I had meditation. If I was in front of an audience, I'd feel anxiety before going out. But having gone through that, and then several months afterwards, processing those feelings that had come up, I haven't had any anxiety since, and that's kind of rare for performers. I go out in front of, just did 9,000 people yesterday, 2 days ago. People, are you nervous? I said, no, I'm not nervous at all. It's as easy as can be. It was that the anxiety comes from anytime you have irrational feeling, like I'm a good speaker, why should I be afraid, logically, but people have these anxieties. Well, that's because they trigger these issues deeper, deeper, deeper inside. So when things happen to me, I always look at, okay, this is just going to help me find something deeper inside, unresolved. It's going to help me to find love again. And then it makes it easier to process present time. So think of present time loss is magnified more. It's a loss, so I grieve the loss, but with my wife, this is beyond anything I could imagine. I mean, I was nonverbal, I was non-linguistics. I was wailing for 2 months, just around my house, just this wail that would come out. And people process their pain differently, but for me at first just needed to be this verbal wailing, but always with an awareness that most people don't have, is that this is all temporary. There's stages you go through. I mean, even now, to a certain extent, when I'm really, really happy, there's a part of me that goes, oh, I shouldn't be really, really happy because, the reason I was so sad is because I love my wife so much. So if now I'm really happy, that means I didn't love my wife so much.
Yeah.
And that's just a logical loop that doesn't make any sense at all. The point of grieving is to remember the love, and to feel gratitude for that time.
Correct.
And your heart becomes bigger. And when your heart is bigger, then you can have more happiness. But you mentioned the lady who said she's not single. I always have, Bonnie's pictures there every day. I light her candle in front of her, and I read her journals. She's always with me. At the same time, which is rather controversial, is, I'm also dating. And sometimes my friends go, well, how can you date someone? I say, well, I'm lonely.
It's normal. It's normal.
And it's normal. Nothing wrong with finding love. I'm a loving being. I need to give and receive love. And that's right. But at the same time, it's not like anybody's going to replace her. So there has to be this sort of adjustment to, I can find love again. And I always have my love for her. And that takes time for the brain to adjust, the body to adjust.
Yeah, you'll know when it's the right time for you. And of course, all studies show that women don't necessarily remarry, but men within 1 to 2 years, they need that companionship and they do marry, and that's normal. And possibly that's part of being from Mars. And
totally being from Mars. If I could explain, see, women have the capacity to receive and give love in a non-sexual way. Okay. Now, men have it to some extent, but for men, there's a driving force inside of men, which is through physical intimacy, our heart opens more. Now, I was just teaching a class and teaching this idea, and one woman says, you say this, but I can't believe it. I need to have some visual approval. Visual. And I said, how many men, when you're having sex, feel that your heart opens more than at any other time? Raise your hand. All the arms went up. And, there could be exceptions to that. I'm not saying, I love my audiences. I love my children, but making love is making love. And men, see, men have, are aware all the time of their sexual needs, unless they're low testosterone and they're depressed or whatever. But men are aware of their sexual needs. Most women are not. They're aware of their need for love. So women are constantly aware of their need for love. And men are not so much, generally speaking, men do not realize how much they need love. Sex opens us up so we can receive that love. And then you realize how much you need the love. I tell in my classes, I talk about, for me, and I'm a pretty enlightened guy and I need love and so forth, but it was about 7 years into our marriage and we were making love and it was great. And so I said, wow, that was really great. That was as good as it was in the beginning. And she looked at me a little puzzled and she said, oh, that was much better. And I thought, secretly inside, I thought, oh, was she faking in the beginning? But I said, well, help me understand that. And she said, oh, John, in the beginning, sex was great, but we didn't really know each other. Mm-hmm. Now you've seen the best of me and the worst of me, and you still adore me. That's making love. And I got it. I kind of had, it's, some things are obvious when it's pointed out to you. And she pointed it out and it totally changed my experience. And this is what I teach couples. I say, when you have sex, you're having sex, but if ever you're not making love, slow it down to where you're using the sex part of, the experience of being naked and touching and kissing and all that in order not to get high pleasure, although that happens. It's in order to feel the love you have for your partner. And that's a distinction. I mean, you literally have to be aware of that, to shift, because it's so easy to get lost in passion and release your energy and all that, as opposed to, why am I doing this? I'm doing this to feel how much I love my partner. See, we all love our partners if we have harmony in our marriages, but we don't necessarily feel the love. That's why I believe sex is so important, is sex, particularly for men, allows them to feel the love. Now, women can feel the love without sex. That's why a woman can, move on and she goes, oh, I don't need sex and whatever. Not all women, but many women. It's not, they have so many places to get the love. But when a woman feels really loved, then suddenly she becomes aware of how much she needs sex. See, we men become aware of how much we need love. Women become how much they need sex. And my wife, she said the best part of our marriage was the sex. We couldn't go without it. I loved it. When, my daughter does the website with me, Lauren Gray, and we were doing these online classes and these quizzes. And so I wanted to test out one of the quizzes with Bonnie. And I said, if, each one is a choice, which to find out what type you are. And the choice was, which do you prefer, an intimate conversation about your life and future together, or great sex in the bedroom? And I thought my wife would have said intimate conversation, but she said great sex in the bedroom. I said, really? She said, of course, John, that's the best part of our marriage. I was like elated to hear that, because for me, it has been, one of the best parts, but it's the love. It was the sex, because we make love, it awakens again and again in me the ability to feel love throughout the week. Otherwise, I would be dry. And men, when they lose their spouses, most men, not all, but like you said, the statistics are, they're ready to get married. And ironically, there's also a belief out there, which I agree with. I don't know if it's a statistic, but it's women always say, well, when is this guy going to want to get married? And men have their own timing. But men generally get to a place where they want to get married, and whoever they're with, that's the person.
Oh no, I know. And that's where the whole thing goes. I remember not knowing that, John, when I was married before for 7 years, and now I've been married for almost 26. But here's the thing. I didn't know that I could walk away and from dating someone if they asked me to marry them. So what happened was I was going to break up with him if he didn't ask me to marry him. And he asked me to marry him, but and so I said yes. So, these are things that I learned. And when my children, one by one, as they were getting married, I thought, okay, even if we're walking down the aisle and you have cold feet, we will turn around. I don't care how much money we've spent. Right. We walk away, because that was my lesson. I mean, everything that happened to you, all the losses that you have experiences, all the two marriages, even from the meditation and being able to utilize meditation and realize that you can't grieve through meditation. All
Right.
those experiences have now prepared you for this moment. And that's what's so beautiful about embracing life as is.
Yes. Yes. There's so many facets to life, and people can get caught up in one aspect or get one aspect, and it's a whole picture. It's a
Well,
whole picture.
and then we forget, like you said, 34 years of loving and feeling that curiosity still in your marriage, that, and I think that that's what happens when we marry the person for the wrong reason.
Mm,
And perhaps we love them, but we don't love them as a soulmate like you love Bonnie. I
right.
mean, you
Right.
returned back to Bonnie.
Yeah, that's a whole story. I mean, I
That's
could do that one. I tell that story because sometimes people feel like if you're with your soulmate, then you know for sure and you get married. But actually, I was with Bonnie before I married my first wife.
mhm.
And Bonnie said to me, she said, "Oh, John, you're not ready to get
Because
married."
she had children. She
She
had
had
children.
children. She had children. I didn't even have a job yet. I was still sort of making my way in the world. And she said, "Oh, you're not ready." And so then Barbara, my first wife, she was like my assistant and helping to build my seminar company. And and you might think, well, what am I going to do? I've been a monk for 9 years. What am I going to teach? Well, actually, what I
You learned
taught was,
very well after that.
well, no, it was so funny. What my first class was called Making Love Workshop. It was all about sex. Because if you've been a monk for 9 years and you've never had sex, you've never released your energy, all you think about is sex afterwards. So I traveled around for about a year having sex with lots of women and making love with lots of women and asking them, it
To
was
teach
always
you.
to interview them on what makes you feel happy in sex? What do you like in sex? And they were happy to tell me because I'd been a monk. There was something about that freedom to have a conversation. And so I went, wow, I did not know this. I did not know this. I'm sure many other men do not know this. And I'm sure many women don't know this about men. I was able to distill that and create these wonderful classes where I said, look, we're just going to talk about this stuff. We're going to do the same thing I did. We're going to start talking about sex and what people like, what they don't like. And I would sort of steer it always in the direction of making sure it stayed in the direction of making love, because it was the making love work, making love workshop. This was, because that's ultimately what it's about. And it's easy to get lost in the sex part of it. And that just over time depletes you of energy. But making love actually increases energy. And making love is when both partners' needs are being met with the priority and the purpose of feeling love. I mean, there's books written that are actually books written saying that love is not a feeling. And I go, how sad that this guy doesn't know that it's a feeling, which then propels you into loving behaviors.
Well, but that's a choice. That is a choice. You can choose things from a place of love, or you can choose things from a place of fear. So for them to feel that that's not even a feeling, or that it's not something that is significant, that is so wrong in so many different levels.
I won't, this is men writing these books or saying these things.
Their understanding of love.
But see, men don't always have the connection to their feelings. Okay, so they're, some men just do not access their emotions the way most women do. Not that all women are that great at it either, but they're typically way more emotional than men. And I know there's people going, oh, no, my boyfriend's more emotional, whatever. And that's true. That's happening today. And that's why I've written this book called Beyond Mars and Venus, is that men are becoming more on their female side and women are becoming more on their male side. And that will kill the passion in a relationship. The passion is when being together with your partner generates in a man more testosterone. Men need to have, 50 times more testosterone than a woman to have orgasmic heaven. And women need to have 20 times more estrogen than a man. Is it 20 times? Yeah, 20 times more estrogen than a man for her to be climactic and multi-orgasmic and so forth. There's all these wonderful experiences that couples can experience with the right tools and techniques and the good communication skills in and outside the bedroom. That is dependent upon also couples coming back out of this role reversal where men are generating more masculine energy in the Asia where I teach there. Also, it's called the yang energy, the yin energy, the feminine energy. And this correlates right with the hormones. I mean, when
Mm-hmm.
women have a lot of yin energy, their estrogen levels are rising. And when they have a lot of yang energy, their testosterone levels are going up, pushing down their yin energy. And, you know, I see a lot of women, they're 45 years old and they've been divorced and they can't fall in love. And they just say, you know, I date, I see some nice guys, but I can't fall in love. I say, that's because you can't double your estrogen. You need to double it in order to fall in love. This is like essential. Now, what stimulates estrogen is, in sociology, we call it pair bonding. Now, so what I've done is brought all these things together, but there's something called pair bonding.
Okay.
Pair bonding is where you're dependent on someone for something. Say it's you go to your doctor and you're afraid you're sick or something. They know something that you don't know, and they're going to be able to help you and care for you. So that's a pair bonding. That doctor's testosterone levels will go up because they're being responsible for you, and you're feeling need. You're feeling a dependency for them, that they're giving you something that you can't give yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That stimulates the production of estrogen.
Wow.
Now, that's where I wrote Beyond Mars and Venus, because it used to be that women would depend on men for financial support that they couldn't give themselves because, you know, they didn't have education, they didn't have opportunities, they're often pregnant with babies and so forth. So that was the whole old-fashioned culture. But now women can do for themselves. They can make money, they can be independent, they can do it themselves. So that's all good. That's women now are free to express their masculine side, but that doesn't generate female hormones. So you have to balance this masculine side by generating more female hormones. And that's why there's a commodity today of romance and good communication. Traditional relationships, romance went away the first year. Nobody cared. And traditional relationships, nobody really cared if there's that much communication. You know, women weren't saying, oh, my husband doesn't listen. They knew he didn't listen. That was okay, because they got their estrogen because he was a good provider. If he was a good provider, you know, not all relationships were rosy in the past, but there were some that were rosy. And it was, generally speaking, it happened when a man had a good job and was well paid. That was it. You know, we look at all misdeeds of men in the world throughout, and it's always men who are not well paid, and they didn't you know, unless they had a father who had a lot of money and they never earned their money, then they became playboys and irresponsible and dictators in the world. So you've got those who didn't actually have to earn it, and then you get those who can't earn it because the system is so corrupt and creating kind of a slave labor. But when a man has education and he had a good job and he made money, generally he wasn't an alcoholic, generally he wasn't fooling around, he could be in love with his wife and have a long-lasting relationship. And I got to see that with my parents, because my dad had a good job. My mother had 7 children. You know, she's busy raising kids the whole time. And she was fulfilling her dream because she was on her female side. And it wasn't a world where she was feeling, oh, I need to be so independent, until the kids grew up. And the kids grew up, and she opened the biggest bookstore in the country. And she never advertised. It was a metaphysical bookstore. She bought a house and then added more rooms to the house, and it was filled with rooms. Then I became this super best-selling author. She had a whole room dedicated to over 200 John Gray products. This is back in the day where there were videotapes, you know, audio cassettes, we had games, we had posters, she had all of it there. It was very fun for her.
Wonderful.
She was very proud of her son.
So as today, now I heard you talk about estrogen and testosterone and what men need and what women need. And with the role reversals and bridging, you know, how do we bridge the gap? Because, you know, you learned how to communicate effectively with Bonnie. You know,
yes,
we've learned how to communicate effectively with our spouse. But there are times where that does not happen. And we start seeing the worst in them because that's how we're viewing ourselves. And we rely on the other person to fill our needs, and not necessarily, I mean, like you said, it's okay to fill our needs, you know, financially, but there are some core values. Let's look at these core values today. Are they different than, you know, it sounds like they're different than before. So as you wrote your first, you wrote your first book, it made sense then. Does it still make sense today? Is that why you felt that you needed to write the new book?
Well, the third book, but it's Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Well,
It definitely applies completely today when you've got a young couple and and she's pregnant or she has little children and he's the provider. That's your more traditional setup.
Great.
Whenever there's a traditional setup, you will see those misunderstandings that I talk about and the easy solutions as a result of understanding things better. That's all still works for couples. I mean, I had hundreds of people came up to me who only read Men Are From Mars and said it changed their life, got married because of it, all this good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
However, we've got another generation at different ages. First of all, you get the older generation, women naturally go more yang energy, they become more independent. Okay, that's one thing. The younger generation of women, they're becoming very, very independent. And they often don't want to get married. They just kind of like don't feel the need for a man. You know, why do I? Need is a bad word. And it's because they don't need a man in order to provide the things men used to provide.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what we have to do is take this to a higher level of understanding, which is the Maslow talked about in 1940. He talked about the hierarchy of needs. That would be values, which is what you're talking about, the hierarchy of values or needs. You know, when you're poor, you don't complain my husband doesn't listen to me. You know, you complain we don't have food on the table.
Correct.
Okay, so you got your basic survival needs, your hungers, your need for warmth, your need for shelter, your need to survive.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you happy at that level of life is surviving. You know, an example was my wife and I went to our ranch, and in the beginning we didn't have insulation and the heater wasn't working. It was very cold. We built a fire, and it didn't matter what problem we had in our life. Just sitting next to that fire, we were just so happy. Okay?
Yes.
That's all we needed.
Priorities.
Priorities. So, you know, if you're hungry and you eat food, oh my gosh, it tastes so good. And the hungrier you are, the better the food tastes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So go without eating for 2 days, then eat. You'll be in heaven. I mean, that's called feeling your need. Okay. So, but once you eat a meal, then you not eat another meal right afterwards. It doesn't taste so good. So when you feel your need, your capacity to love increases. Okay. So now when you don't need a man for survival, when you don't need a man for security, then what do you need a man for? It diminishes your ability to feel love. It diminishes your ability to produce estrogen. When you're feeling love, estrogen gets produced. Okay. So this is like, I have a need and it's being fulfilled. My estrogen levels are going up. And it's only really 5 days of the month when women need high levels of estrogen. Okay, that's the 5th day after her period to the ovulation time. That's when her body requires twice as much estrogen. And if she doesn't get it, she'll be very dissatisfied. If she gets it, she'll be very satisfied. So this is the time where she can experience the highest levels of fulfillment that will carry her through the rest of the month. But this is like understanding these cycles and what men can do at those times. Very helpful for me as a man to know this is when you got to schedule your best date of the month. Okay,
you maximize everything.
Right, maximize everything. I'm a little lazy.
What day is it today? Let me see. It's time for a date.
And even when you plan a date with your wife, you want to do it a week in advance. You don't want to wait to the last minute and say, what do you want to do? That is not romantic. You see, men think, whatever you want to do, I'll do. That is not romantic.
Correct.
What's romantic is a week in advance. You make some suggestions. Let's plan something. What would you like to do? Listen to her and then make a decision based on what she likes, not so much what you like, but still tell her what you'd like so she doesn't feel like it's all just her. That can.
Well, but if you give options, John, of things that you want to do, then anything I pick will be something that you would love to do.
That's right. That's right.
So everybody wins, win-win.
Everybody wins. You know, you give as women need to come up with, they need to go beyond when the man says, what do you want to do? And she says, I don't know. She needs to find a place of knowing what she'd like to do. But a man needs to understand that she may not know what she wants to do. So you need to come to the conversation with a few suggestions. And I'll say this humorously because I've been married 34 years. But generally, men, what you need to expect is your first 2 suggestions, she's going to point out why she doesn't want to do that. Sometimes for a woman to know what she wants to do, she needs to say no to what she definitely knows what she doesn't want. Isn't
that the truth? We know what we don't want. We need to learn how to translate it to what we want.
Right. And it's okay. You just need to learn a conversation where I make it safe for my wife to say what she doesn't like. I'm reminding of a funny story I tell in my classes where I explain to men, my wife, she'll say to me, oh, let's go out to dinner tonight. I say, okay, where you want to go? She goes, I don't know. Now she's the one who wants to go to dinner, but she doesn't know. And I want to eat at home. But so I say, okay, well, we can go to, you don't know, well, let's go to D'Angelo's, the Italian restaurant. She goes, oh, no, we're not going to go to D'Angelo's. Don't you remember the cook's no good there? And they made that awful spaghetti. It's like the gluten-free pizza was awful, and so she's going to say no. And so in my mind, if I don't understand my wife, I'm going to feel frustrated, like, well, you don't know what to do. That's my best suggestion. But I know you have to have 3 suggestions before she's ready to know what she wants. So I'll then say, well, we could go to Jenny Lo's Chinese restaurant. That's always good. She goes, yeah, don't you remember next week we're going to go there with the Browns? That's what we're going to have. She's all aware of all this stuff. I'm just trying to pick a restaurant. So again, it's like strike out. And then I say another one, strike out. Once she feels she can talk for a while about why these picks that I made are wrong. You have to realize when women can talk about what they dislike or say no to things without opposition or resistance, that stimulates estrogen. That means it's safe for me to disagree, because the thing that's most unsafe in the world is when you disagree with people, when you say no to things. So the thing is where she goes, no, let's not go there. Then after the 3rd rejection, that's when I say the place I really want to go. Well, then let's just go get sushi. And by that time, she's feeling so good that she says, okay, we'll go do there. I mean, really, it's not that important where you go, but it becomes important for her to know what she wants. Often a woman needs to share what she doesn't want. And that actually increases the estrogen that lowers her stress levels and allows her to go to her yin energy, which is what she would like, to feel what she likes.
Very nice.
Easy for men to know what we like. I like this. But that's us going to the female side. So ironically, it's easier for men today to go to their female side than their male. And it's easier for women to go to their male side than their female side. And the reason for that is that for thousands of years, women have been stuck over on their female, men are stuck on their male. And suddenly there's permission to come out. And if you've been just yin energy and you start moving to the yang energy, and the in-between place, you've got both of them. And that's ecstasy. That's the flow. That's what we're all looking for, is the blending of the masculine and feminine energy inside of us. But the challenge is, if it's so easy for men to go to their female side, it feels so good, how to get back to the male side. And for women on their male side, how to come back to the female side. So to do that, we have to realize the fine balance, it doesn't feel natural until you're really good at it. Okay. It's like if you're falling out of balance, typically what feels natural is to keep falling, not to go the other direction.
Sure.
So literally you have to use willpower. You have to recognize the symptoms. For a woman, one of the symptoms of being on your male side too far is feeling overwhelmed. I have so much to do. I have to do, as opposed to, oh, I get to do. Oh, I like to do. That's the female side. That's enjoyment and pleasure and what you love to do. So to come over here, you think from a man's point of view, just do what you love to do. And she'll say, oh, no, I have to do this first. I have to do this and I have to do that. Meanwhile, he's over there doing what he loves to do. He's just sitting on the couch doing nothing.
and thinking nothing.
He just stretch it out just to complete
the cycle of life.
And to have compassion for each other. This is a really good little dynamic we're talking about, because women cannot understand why he's just sitting there doing nothing. And we men cannot understand why you can't sit here and do nothing, why you have to do so much. And so if a woman looks at how hard it would be for her to just relax and let go, that's as hard as it is for him to have energy to get up and do something. That's role reversal in the relationship. He's too far on his female. She's too far on her masculine. And the key to success in relationships is never try to change your partner. Recognize when you're out of balance, the one thing you can control is change yourself.
There you go.
For her to come back to her feminine, or for him, if I want my wife to be more relaxed and happy, I need to come back to my masculine. That's my responsibility. Yeah. Whoever wants to create change. And so that's the thing. If you have a complaint, you're trying to create change. What can you do to create the change, as opposed to trying to get your partner to change. Nothing wrong with wanting them to change, but how do you motivate them to make changes is to bring out the best of them by first coming back to the best of you. And that's the process. And understanding hormones and male hormones, female hormones, times of the month, and all that is really helpful to understand what you need to do in order to find balance within yourself.
You know, interesting. You said so many different things, and I wanted to tap into personally. You know, my husband and I have gone through marriage encounters, and we've helped with marriages, retreats, and all that. But what helped us the most was working on ourselves individually. Yeah. Is finding that person within us, and I'm wondering, you know, because I know we have some questions, and Barbara, I will ask you a question soon, but I know that many of us have lack of self-love, and when you're discussing, you know, like being aware, this is my male side, this is my female side. Don't mean to be stereotypical, but there's not a lot of men who are even aware that they have a female side or they have a male side, and maybe not even want to dive into that, or maybe not even know, oh, she asked this question 3 times and I need to build her up. Many men don't know that. And as a result, there's a lot of resentment, and they bring that into the bedroom, or there's resentment because I'm not being heard. And maybe there's resentment for the guy because he's not feeling loved or not having enough sex or whatever it is. How do you bridge that gap? How do you, you know, if someone's unwilling to look within themselves to find, oh, and can you build your estrogen by loving yourself more? Because you said that estrogen is built in women when they feel love. Can I build my estrogen by loving myself with compassion and understanding and getting to know what I love, what I don't love?
Okay, well, there's a lot of questions you asked there. All good. I'll start with the last one, which is self-love particularly increases progesterone. Now, for half of the month, from the time of ovulation to the time of your period, progesterone needs to dominate more than estrogen. So that's a time where you need to do the things you love to do. Now, they create the estrogen during those 5 days on the way up. That's when you need someone to do something for you. That's not a do-it-yourself, but what it is in terms of do-it-yourself is create situations where someone will do things for you. That's called the art of asking for help. It's the art of feeling my need for help and communicating that in a way where somebody responds. And that's tough for women when they're way on their male side. The progesterone issue is a little bit easier for some women because that's me time. That's when you're just saying, okay, I've been working really hard. I want to do something I love to do. That should ideally be during your after ovulation, coming back down to your period. And then after your period, you've got about 5 days where you're more independent, you're doing your thing. Many women feel rather good at that time, more creative at that time. Yeah. But boom, it just hits 5 days. Your body says, nope, we need to start making more estrogen. And at that time, you need to create settings where you can get from somebody else something that you can't give to yourself. Now, that could be taking a class. That could be a yoga class. That could be an archery class. That could be going to see your doctor. That could be having a coach. That could be someone who's giving to you. Now, theoretically, if you know how to process your emotions, and you do, but not everybody does, where you could actually be upset about something and then act and then say, now, when else did I feel these kinds of feelings? And go back to ages up to like 12 years old. At ages up to like 12 years old, you can find feelings from that time related to what's happening now. And then you're like a mother to yourself. So you're listening to yourself, to this child that needs help. And in which case you will then be producing this estrogen gets produced, because there's a part of us that's still living in the past. That's this, they call it the inner child, the vulnerable part of us and so forth. So when you're letting that part of you speak and you're on the other side of it, just listening with empathy and what else do you feel? I know you're upset about anger. What are you sad about? So you're, creating a polarity inside yourself where yes, you're the adult because you have the prefrontal cortex. See, children don't have a prefrontal cortex. The people don't realize this takes 28 years to fully develop, to actually self-reflect and question, what are my reactions and do they work and can I change them and so forth. So this is
28 years.
it's a gradual development, but particularly up to like 12 years old, they have no ability to do that. We are their prefrontal cortex. How we respond to their emotions is how they'll eventually learn how to handle their emotions. And unfortunately, most parents, if children are upset, we have two extremes. One extreme is you shouldn't feel that. Don't be so upset. Don't ask for more. Stop being selfish. Minimizing, solving, fixing. No big deal. I'll handle it. You can do this and this. Okay, that's one. It doesn't create the space for exploration of some emotions that come up. And the parent then says, oh, you're feeling upset about this because of that. And they go, yes, yes. And oh, you're feeling disappointed because you thought this was going to happen. And go, yeah, yeah. You become the prefrontal cortex to process the emotion.
Interesting.
The flip side of that is the more, we call it the more modern parent, but they do the same thing. The outcome is the same. The child's upset about something. Oh, I want the ice cream. Okay, we'll give you ice cream. Oh, I want that toy. Okay, we'll buy you another toy. You just give them everything they want so they don't get upset about things. They never learn how to process their emotions. So either way, you got a child who's emotionally illiterate, which most of us are until we become a bit more conscious and aware, like you do journaling and so forth, having a coach, having a therapist, reading books on this stuff. All this stuff helps us to become literate. So yes, a big long answer to the question, never had that question, but yes, if you process your inner child emotions, you'll be producing estrogen.
Yeah,
if
because go ahead, just finish.
If you're just talking about what happened, pretty much you're not going to produce as much, because you really need to be in a place of feeling I depend on someone for more than I can give myself.
Safety. Yeah, that safety. Yeah, that is. And I want to take a little bit of a moment because, you know, I want to acknowledge all of you who are tuning in. And I realize that there are some questions that we need to address. We'll probably address them after the broadcast for the podcast, after the podcast. But I do want to acknowledge how important it is to take ownership. And what I'm hearing John say throughout his life, you know, with his marriage and in his personal life, taking ownership for your life is so important. And so that's what we do at whenyouneedafriend.com. That's what we do here in the classroom, is that we look at ways to be the solution, not have somebody else solve our problems, but that we can be the solutions and create win-win wherever we can. And that is such a different kind of world that will, you know, if you're trying to create that win-win, what more can we do when we're building together? And so I want to encourage you to be a part of this movement of responsible living, which responsibility is all about empowerment and freedom, not blame, shame, fault, and duty. It is about empowerment and freedom. So I want to encourage you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. Please become a subscriber. When you subscribe, when you go to the website, please click onto my social media, like, follow, share this video with people that maybe are grieving or that want to learn how to love the other person or love themselves even more and find out the benefits. So share this video and start a conversation with someone that you care about. Perhaps maybe you're not able to speak your truth, and maybe you both can come up with a win-win. And that's a question I want to write that down, John, that I want to ask that question. How do you create win-win when you can't speak your truth and you're afraid of the blow up? But in the meantime, I want you to know that this classroom is not just from me. It's a lot of groups that have taken a stand to help this go forward. You know, like Liberty Health Share. You go to libertyhealthshare.org. Keep Me Safe Organics, where all the beauty products are organic and non-synthetic, and so you don't get the chemicals in your skin, which causes disruption in your system, your endocrine system, and your estrogen and testosterone. First Alternative Care. The 24 hours non-urgent care and dermatology and mental health counseling for the entire household for $45 a month. This is a way that you can give back to your family as well. Dr. Stephen Grable, who's integrative, functional, holistic doctor in Jacksonville Beach, who's also taking a stand with the Lillian McDermott Radio Show Classroom. The pharmacy in Merritt Island, who believes in topicals and compounds so that you're not having to take the pill. As you know, my registered service mark is you can take the pill, you can take responsibility. So the pharmacy gives you options on how to, if you need medicine, at what to do. And Live Longer Medical is helping you grow from the inside out and looking as beautiful on the inside as you are out. And you too can become an enrolled student and help the classroom grow. So I want to encourage you to figure out ways to share this information. So John Gray has written over 16 books and translated a bajillion times. It's so wonderful that we have advice from John here in the classroom. So help us grow. This information is not on television. This information is not readily available. So thank you, John. I know that you are very holistic, and your family. When I was reading about your past, I'm thinking, gosh, you are such a great fit for the classroom because you have done many things to expand your awareness. And there was a question in the classroom. They wanted to know what type of meditation you practice today. Do you still do transcendental, or have you changed the way you meditate?
Oh, yes, I've changed. I love transcendental meditation. It helped me and a tremendous amount. And then I grew. And what I do is I put my hands up like this, and if you just notice, we just do a little prayer together. I'll do it. You'll notice your fingers will start to vibrate. And then once you're in that, you go into a different state. So I'll explain it to you. It's focus and flow, which is masculine and feminine. So it's a blend of both.
Interesting.
So it's, I call God, okay, dear God, I open my heart to you. Come. And I will have some water or candle or flower. Use this flower, use this water, use this candle. Because how does the energy come? It comes through in something natural. So it's a natural meditation. Come to the trees, come to the sunlight, come to the ocean, and come. And what to do with that? Come heal my body, heal my heart, heal my mind, heal my spirit, whichever I want to focus on. And using the sun, using the water, using the fire, using the earth, using this crystal, any of these things, using this, send your angels to heal my body, my heart, my mind, spirit. Right now, send your angels. You feel the energy shift? Just the intention.
Oh yeah. And I feel the tingling in my fingers. I never was aware of that, John. Thank you so much for that.
And then you say thank you. Thank you to the angels. Now that's the beginning of the meditation. So just feeling the energy. Now, a lot of women will go, oh, my mind wanders. I think about stuff. Well, you're supposed to in this meditation. So your only job is to keep feeling the energy. You're in a prayer state. It's a meditative state. And then you say, take away my negative energy. So you've got water, you've got flowers, you've got crystal to pull the negative energy out of you. So your job now is to think about anything that's bothering you. So now you process yourself emotionally while you're feeling the energy. So put your hands back up. I'll show you. You'll feel it. Okay, now I've got a crystal behind me.
Let's do something. Let's do something. I want to continue this, but we only have 2 minutes for the podcast, and I just wanted to say, but let's continue that because I really do. So this is our little bonus at the end. These are the teacher's pets get to have a part of the classroom with John. We'll do a special meditation with John. But John, I would love for you before we go to share a takeaway for couples that are finding fault in each other because they refuse to look within themselves. What is a good call to action for them that will help them heal their relationship?
Well, you answered the question in the way you asked the question, is that you refuse to take responsibility for your negativity. Any complaint you have about your partner is negativity, and it's not an open heart. Now, granted, there's things you wish your partner would change. That's one story. Another thing is, what are you feeling in your heart? Are you approaching them with an open heart? So look at the ways that you right now, if you're not getting more in your relationship, and I'm not saying every relationship you can get more. Maybe your partner's a drug addict and violent, and there's nothing you can do.
Deal breaker. Time to walk away.
you can't change your partner. What you can do in a relationship is change yourself and then see how you can bring out more of who they are. So it would look more like this. I talk about 4 stages, and it's notice the ways you try to change your partner and it doesn't work. Okay. If you tell me it's not working, then you got to stop that.
Yes.
But you don't know what else to do. So when you're trying to change your partner, stop that. But you have something else to do. Change yourself.
That's
now,
right.
what does it mean to change yourself? Well, for women, it would be, what can I do to produce progesterone or estrogen? How can I bring those things in? For men, what can I do to produce testosterone? That will open your heart. Then go back to your partner and give them more of what they need, and then ask for a little bit more.
I love it. I love it. Okay, for those of you who want to learn more, go to marsvenus.com. John Gray is going to continue the conversation after the podcast. You could always join us on facebook.com/Lillian's radio show. Thank you so much, John. You are just a delight, and I'm looking forward to our little private talk afterwards. Please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
And we have some questions. Let me address, because I know you have limited time, and so I want to answer their questions, and then I want to do our meditation. So Kimberly wanted to know what technique, and we're going to continue with that question in a little bit. And so Barbara wants to know that as we age and you go through menopause, our bodies aren't the same. So how do you balance things in the bedroom? Not all women want HRT.
Okay, so we have to be aware, even though you've gone through menopause, your adrenal gland can produce sex hormones. You just need to give yourself more room to make them, because naturally your body's going to make more testosterone as you get older as a woman. But theoretically, you've mastered being a woman producing estrogen, and estrogen is doing things where you depend on someone else. Now, ballroom dancing is a fantastic thing for women to do if they get through menopause. You're depending on the man to lead you. You don't lead him. I took a class the other day and they're like having the woman lead the man. I said, no.
You don't need estrogen, right?
I don't need any more estrogen. She needs the estrogen. It's a place of yielding and letting go. It's very physical and so forth. So she needs to create space in her life where she's not being so responsible for others, and take time to have someone be there for her. And not always their husband, because he might be too lazy at that point. So you've got to take some challenge. His testosterone goes down when her testosterone goes up. So if she brings her estrogen back up, then he can feel his masculinity again. Not that it's her job, but if she wants to make the change, that change can take place. So it's the beautiful thing about Beyond Mars and Venus. It's a big book to understand all the different things women can do to create estrogen in their body with the right stimulation. And it just reminds you, okay, I need to do this for me. I need to do this. Even I need to depend on somebody else. I need to ask for help just for me. Okay, so it's like a paradox.
And asking for help increases testosterone. Estrogen.
Yeah.
And that would be a great conversation with your spouse, with your significant other, and say, this is what I need. Can you help me? Because you're asking for help, right?
Yes. Always when he's in his cave, here's a little tip. You basically say, honey, well, I know you're watching TV, or that game must be so interesting. When you're done, would you help me? That's Matt. When you're done, hey, I see you're watching TV. When you're done, would you help me? And then, what help do you need? He immediately perks up and said, no, when you're done. So he's even more curious, but he'll catch on later. In the beginning, the help you need is, I just need to talk about my day for a few minutes. I don't want you to say anything or do anything. Just look at me and give me a hug at the end. And then focus on learning how to use him as a listener for you to go deeper into your emotions. I tell you, we talked about it before, but the most powerful estrogen stimulator is being aware of what makes me angry, sad, afraid, disappointed, concerned, worried, embarrassed. That's why you read the book, is learning emotional intelligence is essential for women today, because otherwise you're way on your male side. Our whole culture puts women on their male side, and that's okay as long as you can use this more powerful technique to come back to your female side. And that's the estrogen. Also, you need naked massages from your husband.
Naked massages
Naked
from the
massages,
husband.
yes, where he has clothes on and she's naked. This is not sex. This is him giving her a naked massage. So she's naked and he massages. You just say, look, even 20 minutes. Will you give it? I really need your help. 20 minutes. Maybe we start with 10, start with, depending on how laid back your husband is. I just need a 10-minute foot massage. But better than that is get under the covers, the naked massage, and you need to feel a lot of touch. And then you need to give a lot of appreciation. Oh, it feels so good. That feels so good. So this is like really important stuff, the naked massage.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a great tip on, I have a feeling all the women are taking notes right now. Okay, what about testosterone? How to help your husband or your significant other build testosterone? What brings it? I know that you said
ask for a healthy naked massage, and he keeps his clothes on. Part of why he keeps his clothes on is this is not sex, but it also, when some of these men, when their testosterone levels drop, they're embarrassed that they can't get erections and whatever. And so if there's no pressure on him to get erections, then he starts getting erections. That's a big part of the whole thing. So it's a dance, it's just like she's got to, this is for me. This is her learning how to take. Now, see, there's a whole thing about giving and receiving and then taking and giving.
Yes.
And this is where you put him in the position of giving and you're taking. You're not giving back to him. Mm-hmm. This is you receiving. What you have to know is the most, how you feel as a woman when you're giving to your grandchildren or your children and you just give freely. That's unconditional love, freely give. That means you're giving without anything expecting back. Well, when you take from a man, you give him the opportunity to freely give to you. You say, look, I just want you to give to me. I need 20 minutes or 10 minutes. It feels so good. And then he's just giving and his clothes are on. It's not like he's going to get all hot and excited, whatever, but he gets to experience being able to succeed and fulfilling your need. And what do you do for his testosterone as well? Is you say, when he's in his cave, you say, when you're done, I need your help. Whenever you need a man's help and you give him an easy job to do that actually makes a difference for you, maybe you've talked for 5 or 10 minutes. Oh, it feels so good just to connect with you. I love you so much, and going for the big hug. He doesn't know what he did, but he knows I did something because my wife's smiling again. You feel needed. And these are two simple things or new things to do that are way more powerful than trying to get him to mow the lawn or something like that. That would work as well if you give big appreciation for it, but it doesn't work nearly as much as you being vulnerable, because the key is you have to come back to being vulnerable. Now, part of emotional intelligence is to recognize this little point. Mm-hmm. If women are way on their male side, to find balance, they have to go way on their female side. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you're a little on your male side, you go a little bit on your female side, all right? But you go way on your male side, now you got to go way on your female side. One of the qualities of our male side, remember I'm saying both men and women have a male and female side.
Yes.
So the quality of the male side of us is rational. The quality of the female side of us is emotional, without ration, without logic. So you have to give yourself permission to be raw with sharing what your emotions and feelings are that may not be logical. And matter of fact, the more illogical they are, the better if you feel safe. Mm-hmm. So that's where you have to set up, and you have a context, which is, this is just my feelings. They could be rational or irrational. We don't care. Just hear what I'm going through, and then I will feel better. We're not trying to solve a problem, because to solve problems, you have to be rational. Okay, but what women need today is permission to be irrational. Now, ultimately, if you have great sex, that's the best, it takes you out of your mind. Mm-hmm. But to get to that place, there's a lot of stored emotion that women have that they would be embarrassed to share, because somebody will say, well, that's ridiculous, or that's silly, or why would you feel that way, or that's being really negative, as opposed to we have this idea, I just need to vent. I need to just, as a sensitive part of me, I just need to let it express, come out for 5 or 10 minutes, and we're done. We're not going to solve a problem. We're not fixing it. Just don't speak, but give me a hug afterwards. Done. Mm. And then now you have a permission to be a little crazy. Okay, that's a little crazy, and that's all right. Men think you're crazy anyway, so might as well use it to your advantage. And it's not you It's these irrational feelings, or we could say instead of irrational, we can say non-rational, just emotional. That's what emotions are. They're just reactions.
I think I like that better than irrational, because when I think of irrational, I have this crazy person just it's spewing out venom for the sake of spewing out venom.
Right. There's the baggage with that expression. So non-rational, or just simply,
I like that.
These are just my emotions. And it's understanding emotions are like waves, and you'll go through them and you come back to love. And that's the point of it. Because when you express emotion, you're revealing a part of you that you're not showing the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes intimacy, is I'm going to show you the part of me that I hide from everybody else. Because when you can reveal you that you don't show to anybody else, that increases your estrogen, because that's a need to be seen. But nobody wants to show that part of us. But the man, when you do that and make him feel like the hero for doing it, oh, thanks so much for listening, I feel better. He creates a safer and safer space for you to be all that you are. And that's what we want, is for women to feel that safety. Then women will appreciate men. And that is the ultimate reason to boost a man's testosterone, is when he feels he's doing a good job. But he has to do a good job. Not a perfect job. He just has to do something. Effort, try, get in there and do something. Then you appreciate that. And so the way you knock testosterone down is by complaining about little things. Ironically, if you complain about a big thing, it's not such a big deal for a man, because he knows it's a big deal. But for men, when you complain about little things, it actually has a bigger effect on him, because imagine that someone is a politician that you voted into office, and you think they're fantastic, and they come to your house and they leave the light on in the bin. You wouldn't say to that politician, oh, you left the light on. Can't you? Don't you think you live in a barn or whatever it be? Yeah. You wouldn't do that. You'd say, oh, that's a little thing, because he does so many big things. The little things cancel out. Well, that's the world we live in as men, which is we do the big stuff. So why should the little stuff should cancel out? But for women, on an emotional level, it doesn't cancel out. It seems like, well, it's only a little thing. It's, and the flip side of all that canceling out stuff is we think doing big things should make you really happy. Mm-hmm. But actually it's doing lots and lots of consistent little things, of I hugs and I love you, I hear you, I plan something. The little things build up, and that's what produces the estrogen. I can give 20 roses, I'll get a spike of estrogen. I give 1 rose, I get almost the same spike of estrogen. Men have to get into our heads. If you want your wife to be happy, it's lots of little things, and occasionally a few big things, birthdays and anniversaries.
I love it. I love it. So I know I want to be sensitive to your time. And so I wanted to continue with the meditation, the question that was meditation, and the continuation of that. So if you don't mind, is that okay?
So I don't always have the hands up, but when you learn how to do it, it's good to have the hands up. It's just the blood. What happens is the blood starts to go down from the fingertips. Oh. That sends healing energy, and that tunes you into what healing energy is. Mm. That's what, when I say the angels, I mean the healing energies.
Yeah.
So it's, dear God, I open my heart to you. Just notice your fingertips. I open my heart to you. Come. Use this crystal. I have a crystal behind me, but it could be anything, a sunshine, water, natural. Use this natural object, my offering to you, to come. Heal my body using this natural object. And now, using this natural object, send your angels to heal my body, heal my heart, heal my mind, heal my spirit. Thank you. So that's the beginning. Now you feel a little tingling in your fingertips, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the yin energy. Just feel. See, the whole idea, the fingers is how we touch. So this is a touchy-feeling meditation. Now the objective here, you could have your hands in your lap at this point, but you just want to make sure your fingertips are open and apart. Okay. It's easier to feel the space around them. So we'll just keep them up for now. So you're feeling the tingling energy. So the first thing is you want more energy to come into you. You see, the universe is grace. All the energy you want will come to you. All the blessings will come to you. It's we who keep them out with our negativity.
Yes.
So what you do is you just check in and you just go, okay, what's my stress right now? What am I frustrated about? Or what is my disappointments? What's coming up for me right now? And you look for it. See, most people, when they meditate, those things come up anyway, and they keep trying to get away from it.
Yes.
Here we're asking it to come in. We're going to process it.
Yes.
So, I feel frustrated. Why do I feel frustrated? Oh, I'm on a time schedule and I've got to get here. I'm not going to get there in time. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Then I say God, by your angels, using this crystal, take away the blocked energy of my frustrations. Take away the blocked energy of my frustrations and feel it. Feel the frustration and feel the energy flowing out. You can feel some of the energy flowing out to me right now, right? You just feel it coming out forward. Just imagine it going to the crystal behind me. Got a big crystal over there. And imagine it going into that. Also have a big statue. You can always imagine to a statue, a deity that you imagine, whatever. Just sit, take away. It's like a mother. Take away the blocked energy of my sadness. Oh, I could do that. I miss my wife so much. So I'll just feel that for a little while. And you let your emotions swell like a wave as you send the energy out. And you just keep looking at what's going on in your mind, not to try to not think, but when you have a thought, you go, okay, what's the feeling? What's the emotion? Because the energy flows out when there's emotion. Just feeling a thought doesn't really release, oh, I feel alone. That doesn't do a lot, but I feel sad that I'm all by myself here. Then you feel sad. Or then always in the sadness is I'm afraid I won't have more, afraid of being alone, afraid of not having love, afraid this pain will go on forever. Then you might feel, I don't want this, I don't like this, what you want. So you just keep looking into your feelings, sending out the blocked energy. You see, all negative emotion is just love, positive energy that's blocked by some belief that we have that, like I'm not good enough, or I can't get what I want, or I did the wrong thing. So we don't let the love energy flow. So sending out the blocked energy, this is like imagining you're getting rid of all the old clothes in your closet, the ones you never wear anymore. You're sending out what's not useful. That will empty up the space for now positive energy to flow in. So you send energy out while your mind's busy thinking about this stuff. Now you think, okay, now angels, God, using this crystal, the sun, the water, whatever you're using, send me positive energy. Fill me up with your light and love. Now you reverse the energy flow with intention. Now what helps it to come in is desire. Just feel inside what you like, what you want, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't like, what you don't want, what you want, what you want, what you want, what you need. It can just be, I want to feel peace. I want to feel love. I want to feel ease. I want to feel happy. Or it can be, I want a best-selling book. I want the wisdom. I want guidance. I want support. I want to be able to help people. Whatever your heart is wanting, not thinking about how you're going to do it, you're listening in your heart and you're pulling in the energy to make that happen, to make it more real for you. So you're pulling in the energy, just, like people when they're meditating, they're always thinking about what they don't like, what they want. So just use that energy. The whole thing is to feel the energy flowing. And then you do that for a little while, and then you do, thank you. You feel gratitude. You send the energy back out. Just sending it back out. Thank you so much. Feel gratitude, whatever you're grateful for. Every day, I remember, for example, I do this meditation and I do 10 things I'm grateful for from my wife.
That's beautiful.
So sweet, so sweet. And then that's a meditation.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love your meditation. Did you create this? I mean, you've gone, I'm sure you've tried different forms of meditation. And
I think all forms of meditation are really good. This is a yin-yang formula. This is the male and female energy together.
I love that.
You're feeling and you're focused and you're feeling, and it's totally effortless. Comes from the TM family of effortlessness. But in TM, you tend to, if you have a thought or feeling, you want to come back to your mantra. You want to come back to your mantra. So in a sense, what that did for me, it was emotional bypass. Allowed me to know there's a good positive place to go to. And that's a good technique, to know there's a positive place to go to. But once you know there's a positive place to go to, when your heart is open, then what you do is you just simply feel the heart opening, feel the energy. If you can feel the tingling, then this technique is the right one for you.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that because, so many times, like you said, you just sit there and you just, you're not supposed to think, and you're not supposed to, but we've missed the mark. We've missed the mark with that. Yeah.
Now, see, the reason that you don't think and all that, I'm a 50-year meditator. Okay. I'll do that and I'll process it for a little while, and then I'll do some other things. And then I'll eventually get to a place where I don't have any thought, where everything just is. Okay.
That's because you're a man.
Yeah, maybe just because
You're not supposed to have a thought.
it's because I've been doing it 50 years. And so a lot
Yes.
of people who taught this, particularly for men, exactly. But this is male and female. It's the focus and it's the emotions. It's bringing both those two things together. And so if you want to do like TM or some other exercise, if you're doing breathing, like that's another one, just notice your breathing. You can add this to it. This is an add-on. This is actually the technique of the masters. It was not taught to people in the past.
Wow.
Because people could not feel the tingling in their fingertips. They couldn't do that. So now you can do it because you have emotion, you have feeling, self-awareness. We're a more evolved species. We have both the male and female to feel the energy. So, and most people can feel the energy. If they can't, then they can just do a breathing technique, or you can do breathing. You can breathe in the energy and then breathe out the negative energy. And do it through your fingertips, not just through your nose. Imagine the energy going out and in as you're going for a walk in nature. It's a beautiful, so you can still do that with the breathing. People do a breathing exercise. If you do TM with a mantra, you can do the TM mantra, whatever, or other techniques have a mantra. But what you do is basically as you're doing the mantra, you're feeling the energy. And then if something comes up that's bothering you, instead of coming back to the mantra, just reflect a little bit longer on that thing and send the negative energy out and pull positive energy in. So it's an add-on technique. To me, it'd be like the other techniques, this is my opinion, are like learning ABCs and multiplication. And this is a little bit like algebra. You take it to a higher level because we can do a higher level. If you look at Jesus, for example, he was doing this. Well, he's pulling energy down, pulling it up from the earth and sending it out with his thumb. It's just a symbol of what you're doing. And Buddha would be doing this. It's another one where you're pulling in energy, sending out energy, activating energy, and then you start circling it. And that's another level of awakening the crown chakra, which is like a halo where the energy starts to spin. So now you're in this state where it's just sort of holding yourself in that state. And this is what the experts would do, but they didn't teach it to people because other people couldn't feel. You can only teach what people can do. So anyway, you can do it right away.
I love it. I love it. So if I were to pick a step, so first you become aware and you release.
Oh yeah, once you're in the tingling state.
Yes.
For people who don't believe in God or don't like the word, you can do this. This is another one, which is I call upon the powers of the universe. Okay, I call upon the powers of the universe. Come and use this flower or use this crystal. It's very important to use something in nature because that's a pure frequency. This is frequencies, and then the energy flows to that frequency, and now you resonate with that frequency.
Yeah.
So I do it in the shower every day. That's my favorite place. My wife would complain I take long showers, but use this water, come to this water, heal my body, heal my heart, heal my mind, and just feel the energy flow. It's so beautiful. And then wash away any anger, any frustration, any sadness, any pain, wash it away. And you feel the energy going out like water coming off your fingertips. And then you put them up and now give me what I want.
Yeah. Replace.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And then gratitude, give back. So you give out, you come in, you give out.
Yeah.
And isn't that the most beautiful kind of relationship, regardless of whether it's with your soulmate or with your higher power, to be able to. You
caught on right away. Okay. What it is in every relationship, you're giving and you're receiving. And if you can give and receive where you're both giving and receiving, then you keep giving, but you don't think about receiving because it's always coming in. So now you can freely give. It's like that's when you say you give from a cup being full. It's always coming in because I'm always giving out. And now I can just let it flow out of me. And now you create a circle or exchange. That's where the exchange starts to happen. That's where, that's a place where the yin and the yang start to come together. It's where I'm being masculine. See, like if I'm listening to my wife and she needs to talk, I'm listening, which is being masculine, but I'm also connecting with what she's feeling. So I'm being both. I'm exchanging the energies. She's getting my masculine energy, which is calming and presence and I'm getting her feminine energy, which is emotion, while not having to give up my masculinity. See, a lot of men want to become more feminine, more sensitive, but they become more sensitive rather than become more masculine and being connected to their female side. And that's what you get through a relationship.
I love it. I love it. Well, I know I want to be sensitive. I know you have another interview, and I could talk to you forever. John, I hope you can come back, and because we just dipped our toe today. I mean, we didn't even go into all the tips and all the beautiful, but so all of you get the books and go to MarsVenus.com. Thank you, John, for just being true to who you are and using your experiences to give back to others. Thank you so much. And so we're going to say goodbye. Please share this video. Let everybody know. And thank you for watching today. Let everybody know that we are here to create a difference, not only in the world, but primarily start with yourself, so that when you change the way you look at things, the world around you changes.
Absolutely.
So we'll see you soon. So bye to the now it's bye to the